Are we being fooled by the media, or are Manchester United actively doing business, moving for multiple players and trying to get things organised ahead of the summer transfer window? Confirmation about all the interest in Cunha from pretty much every source under the sun, but United looking to act quick, feel confident, feel positive. Cunha, the perfect left hand. Now, Manchester United, Ineos, we know they love youngsters, and I'm not the biggest fan of signing youngsters unless it's a Lenny Euro level youngster where they are seen as a generational talent. And well, there is two players over in South America that are seen as generational talents: Esteban, who's going to Chelsea, and Mastantuono, who Ineos could be picking up as a right 10, sort of seen as the next Cole Palmer. On top of that, we discussed about Victor Osimhen, £40 million. Maybe we go for him, maybe we go for Delap. I think a lot of it depends on Champions League football. But we're going to talk about all the latest Manchester United news, round it up in 10 minutes. There's interest in Zirkzee, but he's set to stay. Napoli very much interested in Garnacho, and Højlund definitely could leave. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute roundup. There's been a lot of Manchester United news over the last couple of days, so just stay tuned. I'm going to round up everything you need to know and give you information on some of these players in 10 minutes. So reports coming out from more credible sources in and around River Plate saying this: Manchester United have shown the greatest interest in Franco Mastantuono with a view to his possible signing this summer. United are constantly following him and know the only way to sign him is by triggering his €45 million release clause, which I believe is about £37 to £38 million. Now, for me, I'm not sure we have £37 million to spend on a teenager, but like Ineos did with Euro, I can see Ineos paying £30 million for a talent at this level. We need ready-made players. We need ready-made players in attack. But let's say you sell Rashford, you sell Anthony, you sell Sancho, Casemiro gets offloaded, you get Champions League football, maybe Højlund maybe goes Garnacho, maybe goes one of those two, and there's a lot of funds there. You could afford Osimhen, you could afford Cunha, and you could afford to bring in a young gem like Franco Mastantuono, which, you know, it's probably unlikely that we would sign all three and sell all those players I listed, but it's a possibility. Now, we were very strongly linked to Aaron Anselmo this time last year, and he went to Chelsea. And we know with South American talents, a lot of the time we get linked to them by their agents spreading that Man United are interested in this player, like with, what's he called? Julian Alvarez, before he went to, of course, Manchester City. We linked to Enzo Fernandez a little bit before he went to Benfica. This was way before Chelsea, back when he was playing in South America, for actually Manchester United not to go for them. But this isn't the only report. There's been so many reports since this time last year linking us to Mastantuono. So many reports from other sources also in recent weeks, but I'm not too familiar with their reliability. But a lot of links have linked us to him. Sully also linked us to another River Plate player called Ian. I think it's Suburi. Is that how you pronounce his name as well? So that could be another one to watch. He's an 18-year-old winger. But Mastantuono is more of a 10, and Ruben Amorim likes 10s that can play wide, and he can play right wing, and he can play 10. He's seen as the Cole Palmer-esque player. So here are some of his statistics. 93rd percentile for progressive carries. What does Amorim want in this 10? A ball carrier. 92nd percentile for attacking actions. What does he want? Direct attacking. 89th percentile for expected goals plus assists. And 88th percentile for successful dribbles. Very good attacking-minded talent that can carry the ball, which profile-wise is what Amorim wants. Not someone that Amorim would use for a couple of years, maybe. Maybe he breaks in, you never know. But could very much sit Amorim. I mean, when planning for the future, we do change managers every 3 years, so who knows. But interesting. So I did a bit of research on him. I've watched loads of clips of him. I've watched one of his games, actually. And I've known about this guy for a while. Actually, technically 3. But I've known about this guy for a while, been following him for a while, keeping an eye on him for a while. So from everything I've looked up, watched, this is just a roundup of the notes. I just asked ChatGPT to put all my notes, which were like into bullet points for me. And, you know, he is mostly an attacking midfielder / right winger. He operates best in that right half space, which is sort of the Elise, Kulusevski, Cole Palmer kind of zone. Although Enzo Maresca is playing Cole Palmer a bit on the left. Weird. I think he's got a very good football IQ, very good for his age in terms of finding space between the lines, unlocking defenses, very good natural passer, vision, creative, very good. You know, I feel like he's got that Cole Palmer, Bruno-esque pass in his locker. Obviously, I'm comparing him to very good players. He's not like that now, but that's his potential. Dribbling, ball control probably looks like his strength. As I said, he can operate in the half space. He's very good in tight areas. Physicality, uses it well. I wouldn't say he's the most physical player. Dribbling, good footwork, exciting, you know, elements of that in there. He's known for being a good set piece specialist. If you watch his highlights, the free kicks, the goals he scores, very good at shooting, tempo control, very good. He seems to have a bit of brain, a bit of technique, a bit of skill. He seems to be naturally very gifted. He seems to want to have the ball, want to take on players 1v1, want to make things happen and take risks, which is what you want in youth play. You don't like players that play it safe, it's boring. And very much a hybrid 10/winger, which is what Amorim would want. Vision, dribbling, spatial awareness, all looks good. So they are my notes on the player. Again, I don't know if we're in a position to spend that kind of money on him, but it wouldn't shock me if Ineos did something like that. But we have to watch out for our Man United being used by an agent. Like with the Osimhen situation, I think sometimes agents can use Man United to get their player a better deal. Pardon me. Talking of Victor Osimhen, so there's been a lot of news about Victor Osimhen. A lot of reports saying there's personal terms agreed, United are going to move, could be £40 million, United like him. Now, more credible sources like the Muppetiers have said this. United have made contact regarding Victor Osimhen. The club see him as one of the best strikers available. Interest is conditional, depends on fee, wages, or key departures. Champions League qualification may be a factor. But what the Muppetiers have done is they said, look, we have made contact regarding Osimhen. They're a reliable source saying there is contact there is some truth. We might have not agreed personal terms like 10 reports out of Turkey keep saying. Maybe that's Osimhen's agent saying that to put it in the media to scare, I don't know, Saudi into giving him a better offer. I don't know. But reliable sources are confirming we like him. There's interest there. We're looking at him. Andy Mitten said we're looking at someone, but it depends on his wages, which I assume is Osimhen. Could be Vlahovic, you never know. He's a very good source of information. But we've got top reliable journalists saying, look, we've made contact. We are there. We're looking there. We haven't done anything advanced. I think this is very much a let's see if we get the lap or not. Let's see our budget. I think Amorim wants Osimhen. I think the board want the lap. I think if we get Champions League football and Osimhen's wage demands aren't too much, I think we'll go for Osimhen. But I think it's a wait and see, whereas the lap is the number one target now, if I was to guess. But interest apparently is there. But they did say Champions League qualification may be a factor due to his wages. Now, one player we seem confident we'll get, but you never know. At Manchester United, we could bottle it. We might not have the funds. We might not be able to pay up. Wolves don't want to do a deal in instalments. But Cunha, well, they might do, but it hasn't been reported that they want to do that yet. Cunha convinced by United's long-term project, open to joining without UCL football. Terms not discussed yet. Another meeting planned before the end of the month. But the most important bullet point is the one at the end by Ben Jacobs. And Ben Jacobs has been very accurate of his Cunha to Man United information. He said like 2 weeks ago that Cunha wants Man United. He chooses over Newcastle, blah, 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 blah. You know, he's not deterred by lack of European football. He's now said United wants to act fast due to competition. This is what we've been wanting Manchester United to do for ages. Move fast. Now, I think if we prioritise Cunha and we just say, you know what, we've got £60 million to spend, regardless of sales, regardless of whether we win the Europa League or not, put that money on Cunha. He can play as a 10, he can play as a striker, he's guaranteed goals, he's in his prime. If you've got £60 million to spend, just put it on Cunha. Get it done early, get it done as soon as the window opens in June, do it. That's what I say to Manchester United. We don't need to faff about and miss out on him like we did with Elise. You know, we're going to have, if we're going to pick one signing, and let's say we can only make one signing, we have 60 million-ish to spend if we don't get Europa League. If we don't win the Europa League and we haven't sold Rashford so-and-so yet, do it on Cunha, focus on the sales, build everybody, get everybody else. Because I think he's probably someone that could make a big impact. As one signing, I think he could be the Bruno Fernandes. You know how that one signing makes such an impact? Maybe I'm overhyping Cunha, maybe I rate him too much, but I feel like he could be potentially that signing. In terms of other attacking updates, it was said as well by Chris Wheeler and Nathan Salt that Cunha is very close. They also said Osimhen is an option and the club could be persuaded to let Højlund return to Italy as part of the deal. So is that suggestion that he could go to Napoli? There was rumours of Napoli interest. Talking of Italy, Graham Bailey had this to say in regards to Zirkzee. Amorim and the United hierarchy are very satisfied with Zirkzee's first season. United are planning to keep Zirkzee even though he was attracted from interest elsewhere. In December, Zirkzee's season was looking poor. It was looking over. He was booed off versus Newcastle. It was looking like it was going to go in January. I'd say since January onwards, Zirkzee's been pretty good for us. You know, we still expect a bit more, but he's definitely been our best attacker. Big miss, definitely been an improvement on Højlund. We can see signs of what Zirkzee would add, and I think Zirkzee's one of those players where if you get the right players around him, he's a really good player. But because he's someone that's more of a system player, he combines with intelligent and quick players and good players. I think you put Zirkzee in a good team and he's a very good player because of his intelligence and touch and close control. I think Zirkzee can have a very bright future at United. It's weird how a couple of months ago Zirkzee could go, Højlund was the one to build around, but Zirkzee might not be a striker, but he can play 10, he can play striker. definitely brings something. Most of the interest in Zirkzee is from Italy. Chris Wheeler and Nathan Soul also said that Napoli do have a strong interest in Alejandro Garnacho. They are one of many sources to come out this week and say, look, there is interest from Napoli and Garnacho. They could still make a move for Garnacho. You never know, Napoli. They're still interested. I don't think they would get Højlund and Garnacho. I think they'd move for one or the other. I think they probably prefer Garnacho to Højlund. But Garnacho's one to watch. He's definitely been improving. He definitely brings something. He's definitely electric. But if United are struggling for funds, it's pure profit. That's why I think Rashford's at Villa. It's pure profit, and he's probably who they might sacrifice. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.